5 to 7.
5 to 7.
And we are having a group evaluation today because of our lack of people here today. So think of your comments that you'd like to make.
Huh?
I can read the that says, the speaker is to present a talk that is organized in a manner that leads the audience to a clearly defined goal. The speech includes a beginning, a body, and a conclusion, major facts or ideas, and appropriate support material, with smooth transitions between the facts and the ideas. In addition to the verbal evaluation, please come So I picked up my Park Record newspaper on Saturday, and the headline, Park City Mountain Resort versus Talisker. Evicted. 5 days notice. I'm like, what? So to get to the details, we have to go back about 50 years. Park City wasn't always a skiing town. Back in the 60s, it was a mining town with about 100 years of mining history behind it. Yeah, nice picture, mines. Or you might want to move down so you don't have to have such a long
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
During World War II, the mining companies in Park City did really well. We have a lot of lead in our Park City mines, and of course during the war, we were shooting quite a bit of lead at the enemy in Europe and the Pacific. But after World War II, metal prices took a nosedive, and the mine companies were struggling. So they merged and formed United Park City Mines Company, and that's the first player in our story. They decided to look at skiing as a way to subsidize mining operations, well, just until the metal prices improved. So they applied to the Kennedy-era administration for a loan. Kennedy was offering low-interest, long-term loans to new enterprises that provided jobs for locals. And that picture is a luncheon with newspaper publishers in the White House in the summer of 1962. And of course, two Parkites were there. Mac McConaughey, the publisher of the Park Record newspaper, and Jack Gallivan, who was the owner of the Salt Lake Tribune. And Jack Gallivan was also a board of director of United Park City Mines Company. And they said to Kennedy, what about our loan? And as the story goes, he turned to Pierre Salinger and said, can you fix that? So with the 1.2 million, United Park City Mine divided into two divisions, mining and recreation, and the new ski resort, Treasure Mountains, was born. Kennedy never visited Park City, but Lady Bird Johnson came the next summer while she was campaigning for her husband's re-election. And there she is at the ski resort. So United Park City Mines' idea was to transform 10,000 acres of land that they owned in Park City into a year-round resort that would rival Sun Valley and Aspen. And they opened in December of 1963 with a chairlift, that's the Prospector, which is where the Silver Lode is today, and two J bars. Two J bars. And the nation's longest gondola, 2 miles, traveled to 9,000 feet, and took 25 minutes.
25.
And 19 ski runs.
Wow.
The gondola wasn't unusual technology for the mine company. They'd been operating an aerial tramway for 50 years, transporting silver ore and sometimes miners above ground. They also used the mine machine shops to make a lot of the parts for the J-bars and the other mining and the other ski resort operations. Just bring the pictures over here. And of course, their most unique lift was the skier subway. They had cars specially fabricated to take skiers underground 3 miles through the Spiro Tunnel, and then they loaded everybody on the cage and traveled 1,700 feet to the surface. And as one ski instructor described it, because the mines in Park City were so wet that when they hit the slopes above ground, they instantly turned into popsicles. And this is my favorite, the miner helping the woman load her skis. Predictably, miners didn't know how to run a ski resort. So after 7 years of losing money, both above ground and below ground, they were ready to sell. And they sold to Edgar Stern and his multi-million-dollar development company, Royal Street. Edgar inked a deal in the summer of 1970 where he would purchase the base resort, the chairlifts, the golf course. And the deal also included a lease for all the land accommodating the ski runs. He announced a program of spending $100 million over the next 10 years. And in fact, that first summer, 1971, he spent $7 million and installed 3 new chairlifts. That's Governor Rampton opening the 3 Kings. He also installed Payday, an additional lift at Prospector, and the Crescent chairlift. But Edgar Stern knew that though skiing was the hook, that the real money was to be made in real estate development. So he built the 3 Kings condominiums and the Payday condominiums, and he purchased land that was Park Meadows and Thames Canyon subdivisions. The one thing Edgar couldn't control, though, was the national economy. And the oil embargoes of the 70s created inflation, and interest rates spiraled. By the time the Park Avenue condominiums were for sale, he was heavily in debt and had to sell 60 cents on the dollar. And that's where another current day player comes into the picture, Vail Associates. So both Vail Associates and the Walt Disney Company looked to purchase Park City Resort. Both deals failed. And the one man that had the patience to put the deal together was Nick Badami. And Nick operated the ski resort for the next 20 years, very successfully. He liquidated all the divisions except for skiing. So he got rid of the real estate, the construction, the restaurants, the retail, and just ran the chairlifts. He expanded the snowmaking. Here's the Summit House. He upgraded the chairlifts. Here's the quad chair at Prospector, and expanded snowmaking so he could ensure early season skiing. And his son, Craig, brought World Cup skiing to Park City. And with the early snowmaking, it ensured we could successfully host World Cups. This one's 1972, with the man-made snow. He retired in 93 and sold to John Cumming and Powdercore, and along with it, the lease. Meanwhile, United Park City Mines hadn't made a dime. They still own 6,000 acres of land in Park City. And in the early 2000s, United Park City was purchased by a Canadian real estate company called Talisker. So there's the loop. And here we are, Park City versus Talisker.